Welcome to the Transform Sales Podcast, where forward-thinking business leaders come to share their experiences and ideas, learn from each other, and amplify their results together.
Welcome to another episode of the Transform Sales Podcast. Today, for another episode of the Sales Software Review series, I am with Mark Troy, CEO of CallSine. Mark, how are you doing today?
Well, Eddie, good to see you.
Good to see you as well, Mark. And there's something that you have in store for us. We're going to be speaking about CallSine and how it helps sales teams between one rep or maybe up to 200 reps that are looking to earn time back and improve their messaging when they do outbound and when they do their outreach. All of this with the help of CallSine, with the help of AI. Tell us a little bit more about this, Mark. What does this mean?
Sure. So we've developed at CallSine, as we know at this point based on our research, the first and only foundational AI sales engagement platform. All others have shoehorned AI into their legacy technology. So what we have for sales teams looking for better messaging for their outreach programs and time back, we have a platform that could be really powerful for them.
Before we go into more details about CallSine, tell me, when it comes to doing this outreach, what would these teams be doing currently? Before they become your customers, what type of tools do they use to do the same job?
Sure. There are three major entities out there, one called Apollo.io, another called Outreach, and a third called Sales Loft. Those are tools that we would consider our competitors. Inter and other entities may be using just email and certain types of LinkedIn outreach separately from those tools. So we are a tool that is meant to be more powerful relative to that outreach, using AI to write messaging for our clients.
Incredible. And it seems like it's more complete based on what you said. Some of those don't support LinkedIn. So right there, the next question that was going to be, what were the challenges with some of those tools? That could be one example. What other challenges have you seen that your customers previously experienced with these alternatives, Sales Loft, Outreach, and so on?
Well, what we've seen so far is every other tool uses AI as a one-off messaging tool. You use sequenced and templatized emails and LinkedIn outreach typically in today's day and age. What we found, we developed something that we haven't seen anyone pull off yet relative to the ability to write individual unique messages and call scripts for LinkedIn outreach, email, and for making phone calls. The challenges our customers have run into is that it's a lot of time and effort to do this. Ours gives them a lot of time back because the AI writes all the messaging for them.
Incredible. So why don't you go ahead and show us a quick demo, Mark, of the main features that your customers really love about CallSine?
Sure, absolutely. Here's a home screen. I won't bore you with too much on the setup, but once you set up, you're integrated with, and I want to be very clear here, we are fully integrated with email and LinkedIn. So whatever email you set up with and whatever your LinkedIn account is, it is fully integrated. So now you're looking at the data itself as opposed to a third-party tool. Here is how you set it up very quickly. Home screen is a home screen. It shows you a snapshot. There's always available the AI assistant, and I'll get into that in a moment here. But people, you load your people in. We're doing third-party integrations with certain contact level data providers. But easily, if you use LinkedIn Navigator, for example, you can drag the link in. You can take a CSV in. The AI at this point on our side, once these people are in, it knows who they are. It goes to LinkedIn, finds out all the information about that person, whether you're connected or not. It also will go to their website, look at any information that's relevant to them as a person, as well as other things like maybe a press release in the B2B space. Now the AI, we call this the bookend number one. This is now who we're selling to. For teams, you obviously have the ability to see all, let's say if it's 5, all the leads, or you can see just your leads yourself as well. The materials are now what the AI calls upon relative to what it is you are selling. For example, you could have a sell sheet in here. You could have a website, a landing page, PDF, PowerPoint, XLS, XML. It does not matter. Whatever it is you want the AI to call upon or what you are selling. So not necessarily just the product or service, but about your company. And more can be better. Less can be better. For example, let's say you work at a large company and it is a massive entity like an IBM or a Dell, and you sell one product. You may, as a salesperson, not want to put the public domain URL in there. You may want to put specific materials. But now the AI knows the bookends. It knows what you're selling and to whom. And the playbooks are where it gets quite interesting. Here's one I created called Philly SaaS. We have an office in Philadelphia, and it's us selling to SaaS companies. I chose to use AI to write the prompting for me. This is where it gets very interesting in that the competitive landscape does not have this. 2 emails, 3 LinkedIn outreach, and a phone call, leveraging all the materials I put in here. I could strategically choose some of the materials for a certain playbook. You may have 1 playbook. You may have 20 playbooks. Whatever your strategy is, but now it's calling upon those materials. I use natural language to guide it, which I highly recommend because it does teach the AI. Be conversational in tone. This is going to be about trying to get a coffee with these people, very casual. In other cases, very formal, or I want this to do X. And then, of course, the target audience. Now the AI has a guideline. The AI also knows how to schedule. It knows fully integrated with LinkedIn. It knows all of the LinkedIn parameters. It knows if you have a paid version or not. It knows best practices of LinkedIn. It also knows email best practices. So it creates a sequence that you can, of course, edit. I tell people AI is not magic. It's like booting up C3PO for the first time. You got to train it. Once you train it, though, you're getting a ton of time back. So it's teach a person how to fish mentality. You'll feed them forever. Here's an example of the prompt it created for this particular one, for the email 1 outreach. It said day 1. Now on day 3, it's going to do a LinkedIn outreach. It knows if I'm connected or not, remember. So in this particular case, the default is to send a connection request if I am not connected. If I am connected, it knows it will send a LinkedIn message. If I happen to get connected on the next message, for example, that is day 6 in this particular case, based on smart scheduling, it will know if I'm connected or not connected, therefore send a LinkedIn message or an email. The idea is to really get the salesperson as much time back as possible and better outreach relative to what it is they are trying to sell. Here's Abby. I'm connected to Abby. It knows all of her contacts. You can see them here. It has her activities, which are tied specifically to our outreach. So it shows the activities, her recent posts, her work experience. So when I look at these, I'm now getting information that the AI calls upon relative to Abby herself. Here's an example of one of the emails. I know it's an eye chart, but I want to show you one component of this. Backing up, it has created thousands of emails and LinkedIn messaging for this outreach program and call scripts relative to, let's say, it's 1,000 potential customers as the number here for today. I trained the AI on what I say as Mark Troy, the voice of, if I call it. Not everybody sells the same way and speaks the same way. So over time, you can calibrate the AI to actually be in one playbook more formal and one playbook more casual. It also records everything I tell it to do. So for example, if I use the AI assistant here and I say, make it shorter, be more brief, it understands those 2 words mean smaller. Over time, let's say 68% of the time, Mark is asking me to make it shorter. It knows that. It learns, and it can be calibrated based on a lot of different segmentation. Let's say within one playbook, you're looking for formality, another playbook, you're looking for casual conversation. So the whole concept of what we've developed here is to give the salesperson time back and give them better messaging for their outreach. Was that helpful?
That's very powerful. There's a lot of things I want to highlight, Mark. And I want to start in order. First, does CallSine live on top of a CRM, or can CallSine entirely replace a CRM?
Great question. CallSine is never meant to be a CRM, but it does live with CRM. So we have full integration with Zapier, and we are connected to most of the top CRMs. We will be fully integrated with several CRMs, including HubSpot and Salesforce soon. So what we're saying here is that this is a powerful tool now in its current state with the Zapier connections and then full-on integrations with the major players in CRM. But this is meant to be content creation and execution, not necessarily a CRM tracking tool. Great question.
Incredible. There was one part that I did like, which was the insights, the analytics that you get on the lead. It really makes it easy so you don't have to jump around. As you said, hey, part of the research is in the CRM, part of the research is in my outreach tool or sales intelligence tool, well, guess what? I can just go ahead, see all the activities, the recent post, work experience, get a feel for who I'm going to be having maybe a discovery meeting with, and jump a little bit more prepared into the session. Now, I have one question around that, which was we saw the sequence and the copy creator in action. I really love the way it was very easy to say, hey, I want these many touches per channel. Go ahead and draft it out. I mean, it seems like the AI recommends also the order of the sequence. Is that something that I can adjust eventually?
1000%. This is literally yours to mold as deep as you like to go or as shallow as you like to go. We have told people this is meant to be set up, which is, we've seen people set it up in 20 minutes. So it's very easy to set up, but it truly is calibrating, getting it to do what you want it to do, and playing around with the AI. Literally, like I say, that C3PO comment, you have a robot at your disposal. It needs to be taught how you want it to behave. And over time, it gets smarter. But the whole concept is, can this do something better than you can? And can it do it in a shorter time frame than you can? Definitively, yes.
Incredible. Now, you mentioned, hey, we can set this up as easy as 20 minutes if you have your playbooks well drafted, the buyer personas well segmented, etc. But what would you say is the average ramp up time if I were to ask you around the tasks, deliverables, or people required on your, again, typical customer SaaS company, let's say 50 to maybe 20 headcount in their sales team to get it fully trained up? How long would you say that takes them?
Well, let's back up for one moment. With an individual coming in for self-service, which we're just launching now, people can set their own tenant up very quickly within that 20-minute period on average. To get value as a team, a lot of our clients that are starting to come on using, let's say, a team approach are using us to help them set it up. So there is professional services involved for some of those companies. That's very typical for an entity right now. We have one as an example that has 20 seats we're setting them up for. It's $1,000 to do it because essentially we're doing it one to many. So for that price point, for some of these entities, it's a no-brainer. Within a week, we've seen people start to really use the tool in a very, day-to-day manner. They're setting it up, they're playing, they're getting their playbooks, they're testing the AI response. They're looking at things to start really understanding, what can the AI assistant do? How do playbooks operate? And the good thing is, along the way, you can ask the assistant anything you want it to do. How can I use you better? I think after that first week, what we've seen, if people are getting value because they're scheduling outreach, 98% of the messages at that point, after they've trained the AI, they're deploying. So I think the value set for this is, it's easy to set up. We're here to support you as needed. And if you run into any issues, we have support here as well as the AI assistant.
Something that I love about the AI assistant that you just mentioned is that it has that versatility that probably if you're in the audience and you've been playing around with ChatGPT, you can also ask it, hey, what type of information am I missing in the prompt in order for you to give me a better result if what I expect is XYZ? The more you talk to it, the more it helps you help yourself practically.
100%. You got it, Eddie. That is exactly true, because I tell people, again, the magic of AI is here, but you have to embrace the AI in order for it to do what you need it to do. And over time, it will get better. And this is the beginning for most people. This is why anyone that's used GPT, we have an offering. There's a $20 a month version that's a loss leader for us in one respect, to get people that have used GPT to come in and try this for their LinkedIn outreach. So we tell people, look, this is an early stage. We're not here to lock you into long-term contracts. Come in, try it out. If you like it, continue to use it. What do you really have to lose if it does half of what's advertised in some respects? That's what I tell people.
I love it. And the worst that can happen is that it's just going to get better.
That's what we've seen. And if people, you're using, let's say, another tool, could you test this against it? Being fully integrated with LinkedIn and being fully integrated with your email, this is your data. It's not ours. This is your LinkedIn. You're now connected to it, and you can see all of your messages. You can see your outreach. You can see everything happening in real time. So it's a fascinating time in AI, and this is just the beginning for sales enablement, just the start.
I love it. It's becoming a co-pilot by removing some mundane, trivial, repetitive tasks, time-consuming tasks, and putting the human in the cockpit rather. I was going to say a lot of people that are still today on the fence or maybe a little bit fearful of AI, their true fear should be other humans using AI. That's who's truly going to replace them, at least in this first wave before we hit AGI.
True. Absolutely true. And one thing I'll mention too, if we have a few seconds, is hallucinations. People are fearful of hallucinations. Hallucinations are mitigated through what we've developed using retrieval augmented generation strategy. I won't get into the technology too much, but we have a proprietary patent pending technology that reduces hallucinations and hyper personalizes where it can based on three major components. One is vector embeddings. The other are multi large language models, not just one. And we have retrieval augmented generation. So we've done something here that others have not pulled off yet. I call it the cocktail. It literally is the first time you drank a Manhattan, somebody had to create that, right? So we are creating something here that is unique in its ingredients, and we're pretty excited about it.
It makes a lot of sense, Mark, hearing you say this, because if anyone has tried to use and truly leverage ChatGPT for sales, they've been able to do a lot of good work. But now what you're giving them is an AI model trained, tailored by sales experts, engineers, technicians at its craft. And you created the features and the options that you know can really make an impact when running a go-to-market in a team of one person all the way to 200 reps. I want to wrap up with two questions, Mark. First one, when it comes to support, let's say that a team is, hey, I've heard about AI, I've known it's good, I want to jump into the water, but I'm going to do it with you guys. I want to try CallSine. I'm still a little bit of a newbie in this space. What options, when it comes to support, onboarding, and setting up all of this, do I have aside from what we've spoken? Hey, you can interact with the tool, it trains you back. But if I wanted to speak with a human, do I have phone support, email support, chat support, or even meeting support?
Very, very good. So based on our price point, this is self-service with online support. There is twofold support. There's the human support, which we have humans there during on hours of 8 to 6, English speaking, and we have the AI support. If someone needs more than that relative to an individual seat, they can buy some of our time for sure. We haven't seen that happen. Typically, what people are doing in setup is buying the time to get the thing set up, show them how it works, get their teams familiar with it. Then they're playing with it and training the AI. Anytime someone needs support, they typically can get most of that through the SOS support or through the AI assistant. And at the price point being $129 retail, it's a discount for teams and for people that prepay annually. We want to make sure we're giving them the value that we can support relative to the cost.
Fantastic. And that takes me then to my last question. What would you say, Mark, are the KPIs that a sales leader bringing in CallSine for their organization should be looking at in order to evaluate the success of CallSine? What quantifiable outcomes would you say they can expect?
Yeah, there are two, and one of them is easy to quantify that we've seen so far. There's an incredible amount of time back based on reduction of the salesperson's time in the outreach creation. That's a massive number. We've seen it up to about 40%. Now, the average, I think, is about 30. It's hard to say deliverability and click-through or engagement. We don't control that. We influence that. However, I can say on record that our deliverability and our engagement is much higher based on the fact that we are sending unique, personalized outreach in LinkedIn, in email, and using call scripts to support that than a templated approach. So the deliverability and the click-through engagement is much higher. I can't give you a number because everything outside of our control, we don't control deliverability of emails as an example. It has a lot to do with domain reputation. It has a lot to do with what you're offering as a service, industry, et cetera. Too many variables, but we have seen the major is people get a lot of time back, they get better outreach, and they're getting better deliverability, click-through engagement.
Incredible. More time back means more productivity. And something that probably we didn't touch on enough was the fact that, hey, this is not just a platform for you to set up a couple of campaigns and then blast the same templates, just changing a personalization token on the name, but rather leveraging AI to create practically one-on-one messaging. Even if you have a large list, every message would look slightly different. Is that correct?
Every message is unique and individualized and personalized. So not just slightly different. It literally is calling upon the individual, their information, and tying that into those things I mentioned before, vector embeddings, multi-LLMs, and retrieval augmented generation. They allow us to actually personalize the email where we can. So every email is unique, and every email and every LinkedIn outreach and every call script is meant for the individual, including something called intelligence, which you can click on and say, all right, tell me more about how I should pitch to this person. It's really getting granular. So I want to be very clear there. It's much deeper than just an individualized email or individualized LinkedIn message. It's a good point.
If you don't want to go the spray and pray route, but you want to be more surgical, leverage AI, not waste a ton of time trying to set every single one-on-one communication, then definitely CallSine is something that you should try. If you want to go ahead and give it a try, head over to the CloudTouch Marketplace, look for CallSine, and you will be able to set up a meeting with Mark and his team. Mark, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show, and I hope to catch you in a future episode.
Eddie, thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it.